Hello class, my name is Chastity Collins and I will be doing my review on Johnston's book, Radical Behaviorism for ABA Practitioners, and I will be doing it on Chapter 6, Is There Something Special About Reasoning? And I will try my best to penetrate this chapter as possible because a bit of it was a bit difficult for me to understand, so I used outside sources as inference. Okay, so starting out with the chapter, moving right along. The key terms, the two main key terms in the chapter, which were bolded, were assertive autocritic and quantifying autocritic. And I will later describe these two terms later on in my discussion. Also, the book talks about what is reasoning, more than verbal behavior, or is it more than verbal behavior, the proposition, premises and conclusions, logicality and rules, deductive reasoning, and inductive reasoning. Okay, so getting into the discussion. So, in chapter 6, the author first talks about what is reasoning, and basically, is it more than verbal behavior? So, the book gives like phrases, for example, and you've heard, well, maybe you have heard people refer to humans as such by saying that we think things through, or that we put two and two together. Or my example, I would say to throw a hint. So basically, putting two and two together is from my definition, like you're looking at the surrounding context of a situation, and you make your own conclusion based on hints or clues. And sometimes we may even call this common sense. And the book also talks about reasoning, how it's also a verbal response. So moving on to the proposition, and it talks about a proposition basically being something as factual, or it can be something that we assume. So if I say that this type of therapy will work better for this behavior, I am offering a proposition. Sorry, I just had a little bit of technical issues. Okay, so moving along. Okay, I was talking about proposition. If I offer someone a proposition, and the book also discussed text, and it discussed two texts, which is a pure text and an abstract text, and I will go into detail about an abstract text. So if I say that is a brown desk, or that is a black book, I am describing the book as black, so that is an abstract tag. And from my own from my assumption, or from what I gathered, a tag would be when we make statements about what we are certain of. The book also talks about autoclitic, two types of autoclitic: assertive autoclitic and quantifying autoclitic. And autoclitic is partially what it sounds like. So an assertive autoclitic is when you assert something. So I can say that she is going to the restroom. So that asserts her relationship between the restroom. So that's an assertive autoclitic. She is going to the restroom. And a quantifying autoclitic. So I used the words few, many, or some, basically to describe a quantifying autoclitic. And these can be like modifiers. And I'm going to go into deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. So I looked up an outside source to help me get a better understanding of deductive and inductive reasoning. So what a deductive reasoning does basically is it increases chances of the listener accepting propositions. So with the deductive reasoning, basically you're making a logical argument and you gradually apply facts to it. So you can start off by assuming something to be true, then draw conclusions, and then it can be based on your assumptions. It can be true. So I can give an example. All cats have whiskers. My cat, Jerry, my pet Jerry is a cat, so therefore Jerry has whiskers. And that will be an example of deductive reasoning, which I used other sources to help me better understand or get a better idea of deductive reasoning. And its opposite, which is inductive reasoning, it doesn't conform to rules of deductive inference. So you can use an observation to reach a conclusion with inductive reasoning. And I will stop my presentation right there. Thank you.